Hey, what's up everyone? It's been a little while, but we have some exciting news to share with you guys today. As some of you may remember, in 2021, we started building out this kind of empty building or office space. And the goal was to create like a bike maintenance area downstairs that we could do some videos and tutorials on and teach April how to work on her bike a little bit more. And we also wanted to build kind of like podcast/office or editing area upstairs. And the goal with that was really to have people come in and do interviews, especially a lot of the athletes and creators we've gotten to meet over the last year or so. This project was way bigger than we thought, and it took us a lot longer than we thought, but we're finally at a place that we wanted to share it with you guys. So I think the way we'll do this is I'm gonna show you guys around the shop area and kind of some of the thought process behind why things are where they are. I worked in a shop for 5 or 6 years and learned a lot of things there, and then finally got the opportunity to kind of build a work area from scratch. And so this is kind of my dream area, and I'm excited to show you guys. And then, do you want to show them upstairs?
Yeah, I think it'll be fun to show you guys all the cool stuff we've done up there, and we're really proud of how it turned out. And I think it'll be really fun to show you guys the behind the scenes of the setup before we start filming the podcast. And I can't wait to show you guys, so let's get to it.
All right, with that being said, we're gonna jump into a little tour and show you guys what we did. All right, so this is the bike shop, and this is kind of the baby that I've been working on for a while. This whole project has started as like a giant open empty room. And the first big point of progress we made was getting the mezzanine up, which is like the second story. So after we had that, we just had like this giant open space underneath, and we ended up putting in this wall. And we also ended up putting in a drywalled ceiling and 6 can lights. So that was kind of just to get some extra light and also make this its own space. One of the ideas that we had early on was to make a giant workbench and make it out of wood. And so this ended up being a really cool project. The way we ended up doing this is using 2x4s on the borders. So there's 2x4s screwed to the walls, and then we have 2x4s on this border. So I kind of made like a frame and then laid plywood down inside of it and then stained it all. And so yeah, I was really happy with how it turned out. And it was kind of like the most efficient way we could build a workbench this big that also fit the room so well. Along with that, we decided to do a blue pine background. The pine tree gets infected by a beetle, and then it creates this blue kind of color in it where it's this fungus that grows. And so they kind of sell this wood for really cheap because it's defective, and the fact that these blue parts are essentially mold or fungus. But we decided to do a whitewash on it, and then it kind of grayed it out, which is pretty cool. To bring a little bit more wood in here, we did these really cool wood CNC logos of all our sponsors. Our friend Peter at Chisel Custom Decor here in Boise, he did a great job on that. So we have some of those logos kind of lining the whole room. Then to save cost and some time as well, we didn't go all the way up with the blue pine. And then with that gap, we filled it in with some sound panels that we made out of rock wool fiberglass insulation. It ended up turning out really nice, and it's made it sound a lot better in here. It's still not perfect because it's hard to get a small square room to not sound echoey, but it's made a huge difference and just makes the editing workflow so much easier. So from there, getting into the tool storage and whatnot, this is kind of the primary tool wall. And so as you guys can see, on this side, it starts out with like the headset and everything you'll need kind of on the front of the bike. So we have like a little fork dummy, we have a pipe cutter to cut the steer tube, we have a headset press, we have a disc brake hose clamp, and then it kind of, as you go on this way, you get more into like the bottom bracket stuff, which will be more in the center of the bike. So bottom bracket, and then all of your Allen wrenches are kind of more in the center. Bottom bracket set up here from Wheels Manufacturing. And then as you move more towards the back of the bike, as it's in the stand, then you get like the quick link breaker, the chain tool, cassette tools, all that good stuff. And then over here, I always put a truing stand kind of on the side where the back wheel is, because that's the one that takes all the abuse from landing sideways. So basically you can pull the back wheel right off, throw it in the true stand, fix it up, and then put it back in the bike without having to walk around too much. That was the thought process behind this wall. When the bike is in the stand and you're working on the bike here, then you essentially have all the tools you need as you go back through the bike. So then on this side of the room, we tried to just make it look a little bit more friendly and also just have some color. So April kind of went crazy on Etsy and got to just do her thing. She found these really cool trail signs that someone made out of wood, which is awesome. And then this cool little segmented canvas. So then we got some moss over here and the big vise to do suspension work and stuff. Also, this is a sink that we'll eventually hook up, but it's not hooked up currently, but that's not quite done yet. So then over here, this is kind of the retail area, I guess you would say. And this is a lot of stuff that's like consumables that you go through a little bit more often. So like brake pads, chain rings, little things like that, disc brake rotors. Also, there's some cool parts down in here for build kits. So Shimano has been a sponsor of ours for a couple years, at least mine for 10 years, which has been pretty awesome. And yeah, they just hook us up and help us get us rolling with the bikes. So that's been great. And then up here, this is actually really cool. So my friend Hoshi, who is from Germany and he works for SR Sun Tour, he has this company called Codex wall books, and they basically make these really cool photo books. And so he put this together, and it's all the photos that him and I have taken together over the years. So this is kind of a cool way to incorporate that, and he sent that over, which is really nice of him, and yeah, I love it. So it's just kind of cool. This wall is like the color wall. So on that main wall, we tried to get as many tools as we could that we use every day, and then a lot of the tools that don't get used like every single day, we decided to put down here in these little storage cabinets. And over here we have like all the wrenches and stuff to work on suspension, and we have suspension components, little seals and little dampers and whatnot, and all the things that we don't use quite as often down in there. I tried to be somewhat organized, but it's a little harder. I feel like some of these ones end up just looking like chaos, especially like the tire lever drawer and all that stuff. But I'm really happy with how it turned out so far. Another cool little thing that we did is I kind of put like an extension cord on a hose reel, so that way we can use little things like a heat gun for trying to put on frame protection or things like that. And then also the air compressor is on a hose reel as well. And so this was kind of fun. It was kind of a cool project. I'll show you guys, like, I don't know if you can look in there, but in there, there's a reel underneath there. And then if you come under here, then you can see the hose routed. And so then I went through the wall. I had to drill a hole in the wall, and then the air compressor's in the other room so that it's kind of quiet when it kicks on, and you can kind of barely hear it. So yeah, it's been pretty sweet. These cabinets look okay from the outside, but on the inside, it's not the best. So don't judge me too hard. This was kind of like a last minute thing. But yeah, anyways, got some good storage in there, all the oils and tubes and just little small parts. So that's been kind of fun. Try to take a note from Seth at Burn Peak, and I got my label maker running. Label maker's running out of batteries. So that's been nice as well. And then as far as repair stands go, this is the feedback stand I've had since 2014. And this thing's been awesome, but when you have a bike in here, and especially if you need to do like a speed up to try to get things done quicker, kind of time lapse something, the shaking is pretty bad. And so I didn't know what to do. We tried filming some stuff on this in the past, but it just always kind of seems like it's moving. So we decided to go way overkill, and we decided to modify this giant Park Tool one, which is like, it's like 80 pounds, 90 pounds. So this has like a huge 60-pound steel plate, and then it has, you know, big steel column, and this thing is way more sturdy. And so this was hopefully kind of our solution for, you know, maybe you're doing a derailleur thing and you want to show shifting through the gears, you need to speed up the footage, then this won't bounce as much. So that was our solution there. And it has some wheels that we bolted on, which I can kind of show you. We custom put on these caster wheels, and the cool thing about these is they have dials, so you can level it and actually get it to be really stable. But after spending all the time and energy on this, about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, Zach from Feedback sent out their new stand, which is this guy. So this is called the Feedback Pro HD. And if you see it next to the other one, like night and day difference. So yeah, this thing is pretty sturdy. I think this will probably be what we end up using quite a bit, especially if we wanted to change some shots or whatnot. And it's got a good clamp, and it's got some cool stuff like magnetic toolbar, and it's just a nice stand I've been using the past week or so. I really like it. So I think this might be what we end up using the most, but if you guys see the black stand, then you'll know what that is too, or why. And then last but not least, I got a bike parked up here, and this kind of acts as two things. For one, it's just aesthetically, you know, kind of cool. And then for two, it helps break up the sound waves. And so having just a big flat wall, that's really bad for sound to reflect off of and cause kind of the echo. And so we decided to have a bike parked up here too. That just kind of helps along with the sound panels to just mellow everything out a little bit. And it's not perfect, but it definitely helps. Also, we decided to do like another felt kind of mountain scene that April found. And so this is pretty cool. And it also acts as a little bit of a sound panel as well. So overall, the whole goal of this is to make it as easy to film as possible. So we can kind of come in, have an idea, execute the idea, and not have to do a ton of work like trying to clean up the audio and stuff later. But yeah, I'm so happy with how this turned out. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions, or if you are interested in like the specs a little bit more, or how I went about doing stuff, let me know. I tried to document a lot of it, but some of it kind of got missed. And this was really just like a therapeutic project for me to just work on the past year. Just come in here at night, work on stuff and try to build it out. And now it's kind of done. So yeah, super stoked. With that being said, I think April is ready to take you upstairs and show you the podcast zone. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome to our podcast area. When we first decided to do a podcast, we wanted it to stand out. So we did some fun colors and also painted the walls with this fun mural. The biggest focus too on this area is we wanted to control the sound. So we also have some sound panels that we built up top, and we plan to add a little bit more to the walls, but we're just not really sure what to do yet. Maybe you guys can help us with that. And then the cool thing about our podcast is we're gonna do video along with the audio. So we have 3 cameras set up, and then that all runs to this desk over here where I will be mainly sitting when we do this. And let's go check out what that setup looks like. So we have the soundboard, and it's really cool, lots of buttons and things to play with. I can adjust everything, and I'll have headphones on to listen what's going on, as well as the video board, and I can control what camera it uses with these buttons. So this is camera 1, middle shot wide, and then camera 3. And the main goal of all this is so that we can edit it while it's being filmed, and hopefully way less editing post, so that we can get the podcast to you guys really quick and make it really easy on us too. So this is the podcast desk that you'll see on the show, and it'll mostly be set up with 2 people. And I think this spot will probably be Kyle most of the time, along with the guest on that side. We have a computer set up so that we can show videos or pictures or have a Zoom call come in. We also have 2 mics at the end of the table to have a 3rd and 4th guest if we need to. Another important thing about the setup is the lighting. We have 2 video lights along with light domes on them to make the shadows softer on the faces and the background. And I'll show you what it looks like with the dome on and with it off. So this is with the dome on, and then this is with it off.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah. It was really fun putting this room together, and we can't wait to do a podcast soon.
All right, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that tour. This was a big project, like way bigger than we ever thought it would be. And so yeah, thank you to everyone who's watching, all of our sponsors and our Patreon crew for kind of being patient with us. How are you feeling?
It just feels great to finish this, and I'm really excited to do more helpful videos because I really enjoy when you guys comment and tell us how helpful it was, and it just brings joy to us. So I'm ready to have that back in our life again.
Yeah, for sure. I think the tutorial videos were super rad because so many people got a lot out of it, and that's why we're excited about this place, and just we did it. We finally did it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this little tour, and hopefully it was kind of interesting. If you have any questions or if you would want a more in-depth one, especially on the podcast equipment, that was no exaggeration, probably like 100 hours of research at least to like figure out what to get and how to get it running. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know. We can do another video on that. And we'll also be posting that stuff to a new YouTube channel that'll be our podcast channel. And so I'll put the link to that in the description, as well as there should be a little button somewhere around here. And in the meantime, I hope you guys have a blast riding, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
See you guys.